Hey everybody, it's JDoctor. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can use structure blocks. These blocks are helpful for if you want to clone your build, if you've built something in one world and then you want it to be pulled across to another world, you can do that. Basically what these do is they take a build that's in your world and then it turns it into a file that is saved in your actual world save file that you can use to copy and paste in other places or transfer it to other worlds. So we're going to go over how these work. So there are 4 separate modes of structure block. It is all one thing. If you type /give, you can type your username or @s, and then you just type structure block. Then you will get one structure block, and if we place it down, you will see that the item in our hand actually looks different than what we just placed down. There are different modes, and each mode has its own texture. We have data, we have save, we have load, and we have corner. It looks a little complicated, but I'll just break it down for you. So we have data. This one is kind of never used. It is supposed to be kind of for saving like NBT data in chests or something, but you really don't need to use this, and it's probably not going to be useful anyway, so we can completely ignore data. The next one is corner, and this is the next easiest one to understand. So corner blocks will, you need 2 of them for one structure, and it will make a selection box for the rest of the stuff to copy it. So basically what this will do is tell the rest of the blocks where is the selection of your build. So I'm going to actually grab a structure block, and I'm going to use this castle over here as an example. So I just made this tiny little castle. I don't really have anything in here. This is just for an example. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a corner block on 2 far corners away from each other to create one big box as a selection. You can see kind of what it does over here, but I'm just going to place it down. It doesn't matter where you put these blocks, like what corners, but it needs to be 1 on one corner and then 1 on the corner farthest away from the first one. So if I place a corner block here and set it to corner, it's going to start like at our location, but then if we place another one down right here, it's going to select from this corner right here. So it'll start with this block because it's like the touching right here. It's going to start with this block and then end at this block or vice versa, but it's going to select between the corners. So it isn't actually going to do anything right now because we need to give our structure a name. So I'm going to call this structure castle, just as a example, and we hit done. And then we actually want the other one to be castle also, because this will link these corners together like they are both part of the same castle selection. And that's all we needed to do for the corner blocks, and now we need to use the save block for the next step. So the save block is what's going to take the selection that we've created with the corner blocks and actually save it. So let's place one down over here. We are going to place it down and then type save. It doesn't matter where you place the save structure block if you're using corner blocks. So there's a lot of options to get through here, so I'm just going to start by typing in the name of the structure that we are saving, which is castle. And if we hit done, it doesn't really know where it is. So we actually need to use this button that says detect. What this is going to do is look for the corner blocks that have the name castle, and we're going to detect it. And once we click that button, you can see it has now created a box around our build. You can see it starts on the very corner of this block and the very corner of this block and creates a selection. So then the other thing to note is if we don't like our selection, we can like move it like corner and then say the name again, and it won't update until you actually press detect again. and then it will change the selection. So I liked how it was before, so I'm just gonna keep it at that, castle, and then click done. And then we can hit detect. So it has detected our castle and actually says so in chat. It has successfully detected Minecraft castle. And you can see it keeps the size and the relative position. We'll talk about what that is in a minute. And then we have include entities. So let's say we had, let's put in like, where is it? There's so many spawn eggs. Let's put in like a couple skeletons in here. And let's say we wanted them to be included in our structure. They're going to probably run out. Oh no, okay. You can check include entities. So when we actually hit this save button, it will actually copy the entities as well. So we can click include entities and then we can hit the big capital save button. And now our structure has saved as castle. Now it has saved our structure, and how it saves it is it actually creates an NBT file inside of our world. So I'm going to show you where that is. So if we go into the menu and we click options and then we go to resource packs, and there's this button that says open resource pack folder. What this does is it opens our resource packs folder, but if we go back one to .minecraft, we have a lot more, but then there's one that is named saves. This is where the file for all of our worlds are. So if we go into the world that we saved our build in, which is structure block tutorial here, we have a couple more folders. The one we care about is generated. And in here we have a Minecraft folder and then a structures folder. And inside there we have our castle. It has been saved as a .nbt. This is what the machine created. And if we wanted to, we could actually copy this and put it into another world and load it in a separate world. Or we could just keep it in this world and load it. So now I'm going to show you how to load your structure. All right, the last block is the load block. And as its name suggests, it loads our structure. So we can place it down. And we are going to put in our structure name, which is castle. So we type in castle, and then we have this big button down here that is load. Now if we click it once, you can see the bounding box has shown up and it's the exact same size as our structure. But we don't want it to spawn right here, because if we were to click this, that's not how we want it to be placed. So that's where the relative position comes in handy. As you can see, we have 3 boxes here for the position of the structure. This is X, Y, and Z. So as you can see, our Y value is 1, so it is actually 1 block above the structure block. So if we want it to go 1 block down, we can go to 0, and we can click done. If we hit load again, it will spawn our structure. So we want to hit done, and it will update. So now you can see it is at the right Y level, but still not at the right X and Y value. Now there is a little trick to figuring out what direction is positive X or positive Z or negative X or negative Z. So if we push F3, you can see our crosshair is no longer a crosshair. It is always pointing toward northwest. This is showing us something very important. As you can see, the red is always pointing this way, which tells us that way is positive X. And then the blue is always pointing this way, which is positive Z. And then positive Y is up with green. So then the opposite way is negative. And you can see the box on the structure block, if I move it up a little bit, it matches the crosshair. And that will actually help you position the structure right where you want it. So we actually want to go -1 down from Y, so the opposite way that it's pointing that's pointing up. And then we want it to go to the left a little bit. So that way is positive X. We can tell from F3 and we can tell from the bounding box. So we want to go +1 and we click done. You can see it's moved 1 block over to the left. If we went -1, it would go one block over to the right. So we want one block to the left, and then the same goes for Z. One block that way, or one block that way. So that will help you position the structure right where you want it to be placed. So then, once you are happy with how it is placed, then you can hit load. And our structure has been placed, so you can clone your build as many times as you want. But uh-oh, where are our skeletons that we saved? They're not showing up. That's because in our load structure block, the include entities button is also there. We have to check that on if we want that to be loaded. So what we're going to do is check include entities and then load again, and there we go. It has spawned our skeletons. So you can actually say yes or no in the load structure block. So if you wanted to, you could save the build with entities in it, but then have a version without and with by spawning it by picking the option with the load structure block. So the next cool thing we can do is we can change the direction of our build. We can flip it, we can rotate it, we can mirror it, we can flip it upside down, we can do all kinds of cool things. So let's start by flipping it 90 degrees. And you can see the position has completely changed, but the lines are still the same. So we still know that this is X because X is red. And we can verify that here. So you once again want to remember which way is positive, and you can see the position is still the same. This is the first block. It is still 1, 0, 1, 1, not up and down, 0, and then 1. So the position is still the same for this corner, but it is rotated differently. So like this is where the entrance is going to be, because this is what was the northwest corner is now right here. It's just in a different direction. So I'm gonna move this over, so then because that way is X, we can go like probably 11. Okay, almost. So we can go 10, and now it's placed in the right area. So we can click load again, and now the entrance is this way. And you can do it for 180, which is now this way, which we will want to make this 10, and then load it, and the entrance is now over here. There's more skeletons because we placed it inside it. So then you can also change, this is just straight on. You can change if it's mirrored and like how it's positioned that way. You can change it being upside down. So like this is the direction you're flipping it. So this is like swiveling from like, it's just changing the rotation this way. But then this one is going to change direction this way, I guess. And then this one's going to change the direction like tilted. It's just a way you can flip, mirror, change things. You just want to remember that axis rule and just know that red is X, and the way to find out which way is positive is look on the crosshair in F3, and you should be able to position it just how you want. So now here's another cool thing you can do with the save structure block. You can save the structure without using corner blocks if you wanted. So what you could do is, if we just break this, and we could place this save structure block wherever we wanted. So I'm going to place it right here, and we can save and then do castle again. And then we tell it the relative position, because it actually has one too. If you noticed earlier, we placed our structure block and it had numbers in here because it was detecting where the northwest corner was compared to the save block. So just like the load block where the position changes, it's the same for save. So if we changed this to 0, 1, 1, it would start right here. Now if we detected, nothing would happen because it doesn't know the size. But we know how big this build is. I made this castle exactly 10 blocks by 10 blocks by 10 blocks. If you don't know that, you can put in some numbers until you select the whole thing. We have the structure size down here, so we can actually put in 10, 10, 10, and then click detect. And now it has selected our build straight from the save block. So if you don't want to use the corner blocks, you just want to go straight to the save, you can do that as well. You can do the size, the position, it doesn't matter, and then you can just click save, and it is saved directly from there if you wanted to do that. Okay, so there's one last thing that I wanted to show you about structure blocks. And to do that, I have this cool little tree here, and I have a little bit of land here. Now say we wanted to place our tree right here. So I have a load structure block right here. And if we click load, you can see it has deleted the land around it, and that's not what we want. We wanted it to like look nice. The reason this is happening is because structure blocks will actually copy air also. And we can actually see what it's doing if we come back into our save structure block, and there's this button here that says show invisible blocks. We can click that and turn it on. And if we hit done, it is now showing us where the air blocks are. And air blocks are these little things here. We can still go through them, but it is showing us what it is actually saving. So let's say we wanted our structure blocks to not copy the air. That is where this one little special thing called structure voids comes into play. If we type /give at s structure, you can see structure void is another option. And if we give ourselves one, it gives us this weird little item that if we placed it down, it looks like nothing happened. But if you look closely, there's actually a little hitbox there. You can't really see it in grass, but if you have a structure bounding box area that has shown visible blocks on, we can place these down and you can see these are red. What this is showing us is when we save this structure, it's not going to copy these air blocks. So you can see like we're actually placing these blocks, but when we place the structure block down, it's going to treat the structure voids as just keep whatever land was there before the structure got placed. So we're going to put them all in this area. A quick little tip is if you don't want to place all this by hand, you can go to one far corner and type /fill. And then if you're looking at the block, it will give you the coordinates. We can tab 3 times to get those coordinates. And then we can come to this corner, and we can't do it with air, so I'm just going to go to this corner and look at this block and put tab and tab and tab, and now we have our 2 coordinates. We can go structure void, so we will fill this area with structure void, replace air, so it only fills where air is. And now the whole thing is red, and wherever there is red, it's not going to copy the air blocks. So if we saved this structure now and then placed our tree, if we placed it like right here and clicked load, you can see it's kept the land. It looks a lot more natural. So we could do this here. Let me move this and fix the land. Okay, and then if we place down our tree, you can see it's all fixed. So that's why you would use structure voids. And that's basically it. There isn't really anything else. You can turn off show invisible blocks if it's causing your game to lag, because on a massive scale, it can cause your game to lag with all of these little boxes showing up. But it is helpful for knowing what is what. There is this area in load of structure, integrity, and seed. I honestly have no idea what this does. You don't need to worry about what that is. There's no reason for it. One last thing about structure blocks is the maximum size a structure can be is 48 blocks by 48 blocks by 48 blocks. It used to be 32, but in the recent 1.16 update, they made it a little bigger, 48 blocks by 48 blocks by 48 blocks. So yeah, that's how you use structure blocks. Yeah, it's pretty simple. This is actually, you kind of need to know how this works if you want to use my structure generator data pack, which just got updated to 1.16. And I figured I'd make a video on the basics of structure blocks, so you can use that and be able to make your builds just show up in your world. So yeah, so you can take the NBT files and put them across your world. Say you wanted a build that you created in one world and you wanted it to also be in another world, you could use structure blocks to copy it over to another world. So I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!